They say art imitates life, but some paintings, they take something from it. This is the story of a canvas so cursed it's been blamed for fires, sickness, even death. And the strangest part? It doesn't just stare at you, it watches. And if the stories are true, it remembers. You've just entered the Vault of Secrets, and this is the painting that was never meant to be seen. The year was 1985. A fire breaks out in a house in Yorkshire, England. Nothing survives except a single painting. Not scorched, not touched. A crying boy. Sitting alone, expressionless. It was later found in multiple other house fires, always untouched. Always intact, same story. Houses burned to the ground. But this painting? Completely unscathed. Firemen began to call it cursed. And so, the urban legend was born. The Crying Boy Curse. In September 1985, British tabloid The Sun published a front-page story. Super blazing curse of the crying boy on screen text. Headline of The Sun article narrator, VO. It included testimonies from multiple families, all describing the same phenomenon. A fire destroys everything, except the painting. Over 50 cases began circulating. One woman claimed her husband joked about the painting being cursed. The next day, their house caught fire. He never made it out. Another said the painting fell off the wall seconds before the blaze began. The rumour spread like wildfire. Literally, some fire brigades reportedly refused to enter homes displaying the painting. The painting was attributed to Giovanni Bragolin, an Italian artist also known as Bruno Amadio, but records on him are scarce. He reportedly painted a series of portraits of children crying, over 60 in total. The rumour? That these weren't just artistic subjects, they were real children, and one in particular was cursed. According to legend, the boy was a mute orphan in post-war Spain. Every foster home he was sent to mysteriously burned down. Eventually, a fire killed his caretakers. Locals began calling him Diablo, the devil's child. The artist painted him. Shortly after, Bragolin's studio burned to the ground. He disappeared from public life. Throughout the late 1980s and 90s, charity shops across Britain, well, they simply refused to accept donations of the painting. One thrift store worker claimed 3 paintings of the crying boy arrived in a single week. All were found discarded in alleyways. When she took one home, she returned it the next morning, shaking. Her house hadn't caught fire, but her dog refused to enter the room. It growled at the painting all night, until quite suddenly, the glass frame shattered on its own. In 1992, an independent researcher catalogued over 70 known fire incidents involving the painting. There were a few common traits. Fires always started mysteriously, no confirmed electrical faults. The painting always survived, sometimes hanging on untouched wall space. Victims described unease around the painting days before disaster. Skeptics claimed the artwork was printed on fire-retardant materials, but fire marshals argued so were the curtains. The couch, the frame, they all burned. This didn't. Eventually, communities took matters into their own hands. In 1985, a BBC radio show hosted a public burning of the Crying Boy paintings. Listeners from across Britain mailed in their copies to be destroyed on air. But you know, something odd happened. The tapes from the recording malfunctioned, audio corrupted, despite backup systems. One engineer refused to enter the studio the next day. He said he saw something in the flames, a shadow behind the boy. He never returned to radio. If you thought this was a one-off, think again. In the early 2000s, eBay users began reporting another haunted painting, The Hands Resist Him, painted by Bill Stoneham in 1972. It shows a young boy standing next to a doll in front of a window filled with disembodied hands. The listing read, "This painting is haunted. It comes alive at night." The seller claimed they set up a motion-activated camera and caught the boy leaving the frame. Other buyers reported children crying uncontrollably near it, devices malfunctioning and, well, feeling watched. The painting now resides in a California gallery, never displayed publicly. They say strange things still happen, just from the storage room. Some researchers believe cursed paintings act as emotional anchors, capturing grief, anger, trauma, but others suggest something darker, that the paintings act as vessels, gateways. What if the child in the crying boy painting isn't just a memory? What if something lives behind the canvas, feeding off attention, growing stronger with each person who stares? In 2002, a psychic medium claimed the painting was a prison. She said, "Something old and broken is trapped in there, and it hates fire, because fire is the only thing that can send it back." Multiple owners of the crying boy report one final symptom. The face changes, not obviously, subtly. One day the eyebrows are lower, the mouth is tighter, the shadows darker. One woman said, "I turned off the lights. For a second I saw his lips move." Another, "He smiled, just a little." But it wasn't a child's smile. Some believe it's suggestion, others coincidence. But when dozens of people describe the same thing, it stops being funny and starts becoming a pattern. Despite the stories, the painting continues to sell. On eBay, in vintage shops, online forums. Some people even collect them, entire walls of crying boys in ironic horror collections. But the more they circulate, the more the stories return. In 2021, a Reddit user posted a photo of one they found in a thrift store. Hours later, they uploaded a video, smoke alarms blaring, electrical sparks, frame cracked. Their caption, "Okay, I believe you now." They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. But some pictures, they whisper one word over and over, "Mine." The crying boy may be just paint on canvas, or it may be something more. A mirror that sees, a story that feeds. And if you're still watching, maybe it's already begun. You've just unlocked another chamber in the vault of secrets. But be careful what you hang on your wall. Some things don't like to be looked at.